Very soon, I'll be injecting myself every day with hormones. For someone who has a needle phobia, this is no easy task. And the reason for these injections is simple. I want to be a mum. I find myself aged 36 and single. Recently, I had a fertility test, and the result broke my heart. I've been guilty of thinking that I could have it all, and I hadn't realised the impact that waiting so long may have. We say we live in an equal society, but the harsh fact is we don't. It will always be us girls that need to carry babies. Men seem to be more reluctant to settle down, and us girls want to enjoy life first too. The flaw in the plan? Our ticking biological clocks. It's time to include fertility education on the national curriculum for both boys and girls. We need to educate kids about the reality of fertility while they're still young enough to keep their options open.
Well, Michelle, as somebody who has injected themselves daily and have frozen my eggs, I highly recommend it. And I think actually the wonderful thing is it takes away the fear and the whole sort of issue around your biological clock. And you can kind of relax a bit, you know, talking about introducing fertility classes to the curriculum. One of my dear friends, and who was actually my doctor, is Dr. Geeta Nargood, and she lobbied Nicky Morgan at the time, and they are. Some schools in this country are actually doing that now. And I think it's really important because with the women's movement, the fact that we are now in the workforce, we are working longer than we've ever done before and in much larger numbers, we do need to educate women that, you know, the biological clock is real. And what Geeta proposes is that at 30, if you are not in a serious relationship, or if you are and you want to wait a bit, then most women should be encouraged to freeze their eggs. And it's actually not that bad, you know? You don't worry about those needles.
I'm longing
They're
to
quite
hear what
small.
Nick...
I was just about to say, Nick, yeah.
Mine are in a fridge
about
somewhere. They're in the fridge somewhere chilling.
You love this sort of thing, don't you, Nick?
Yeah.
Hang on. What I have to say is...
I just need your turkey baster, Nick. To fertilise
Look, I
them.
wish you nothing...
This is a bit...
a bit gamey, isn't it? I wish you nothing but success.
Thank
and I hope
you.
it goes well. And I'm obviously it's a bit of a tough road you're going to hoe, so you've got my love and best wishes on that.
Thank you.
Coming back
He's
to this,
nice,
though...
really, isn't he?
No, but there's a
No,
but
that's
here.
what I lure you in.
Yeah,
That's
there's
what
Go on then, get on with it.
What would the fertility education classes actually comprise? What would they do? Walk me through a lesson.
Yeah, so I would want people to understand. So, for example, I don't think that some people, not all people, I don't think that some people actually even understand that as a woman, you're born with your egg collective. You're not going to, you know, you might make, you will make more and more sperm as a guy as you go through your life. As a woman, the eggs that you've got, I think that simple fact, not everybody knows. Yeah. And I will even put my hands up. I don't know where I was for this class at school. I didn't even realise that.
The class wasn't there.
Yeah, I didn't even realise that.
Isn't there a danger that in some instances, and let's face it, we have a problem with underage pregnancies here. Some girls might be spooked by what they hear in this class, and they're going to rush out.
No.
This is an area that I want to be educated.
No. Yeah. So how I would address that is, number one, I would introduce those classes to year 10, so 14, 15-year-olds. So that's the kind of age that I would target. And the message that I would be giving them is, look, you know, it's not you need to go out and get, like, pregnant right this moment in time. You just need to be aware of various things. So, number one, you need to be aware that your chances when you get 30 plus, they will be reducing. Number two, there are things, lifestyle choices that you can make today which will affect those fertility chances going forward. So if you drink a lot, if you smoke a lot, if you're going to go out taking drugs, those kind of things, if you're stressed all the time, those kind of things will affect your fertility. So I'll use my example of me. I'm 36 and I got a test. And I don't know much sometimes, but what I do know is that I want to be a mum. There's no question, I want a family. And when I went and did my test, I remember sitting in the room with a fertility woman, and she was saying to me, when do you want children? And I was going, well, I want to do an Ironman. So that's that next year out. And after that, she was like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 36. So she was like, right. And she was like, my advice to you is to just, if you can, get on with it. I was like, no. The Ironman is going to take up a year. And I'm having these conversations with her. And when I got my test results back, I cried. I was absolutely devastated because I didn't know.
What level, how low are you?
So you get measured by this thing called AMH. So it's various...
which is the hormone levels.
Yeah, so for an average of my age, like the worst case scenario would probably be, I don't know, like a 5.5, and it goes right up to like a 37 or 38.
And you want to be higher or lower than 5.5?
Higher.
Right. What are you?
7. And the
Which
thing
for
is,
36 is low.
it's really
Yeah.
bad. And also, like, you get your follicles counted. So my friends all had their test done. This is all getting a bit personal.
I want to count your follicles, Greg.
No, but you do.
Do that now from the top of your head, don't
I use my follicles for something else.
But you get your follicles tested. So my friends, we all went and got a test done, and theirs
Well,
was
you go
quite high.
collectively to do this.
No, not together, but you have a scan. My follicle count was so low, it made me cry again.
But that
for a
doesn't
second
mean
time.
anything
I
either.
have a question.
Though.
With
That
the
doesn't
benefit of
mean
hindsight,
anything.
you don't have to answer this question if it's too
I'll
personal.
definitely answer it.
No,
Not
no,
if it's too personal. Go on.
Was there a chap you were with in your mid-20s, if you had your life over, that you should probably have taken a different view?
No, I think that my most recent partner is the closest that I came to having a family with. So I don't look back and think I wish I had them in 20s. What I do look back and think is I wish that I'd frozen my eggs much sooner. So I don't regret not having kids yet, but I wish I'd frozen
Isn't this
sooner.
something-
Yeah, then
I mean,
you have more eggs.
the culture of our society has changed. I mean, when you and I were young, you know, you got married quite young.
Yeah.
People began to wonder, you know, after a couple of years, if you hadn't had a child,
Yeah,
as soon
what's
as,
going on?
what's
Yeah.
happening? I mean, the average first mother now, I think, is over 30.
Yeah.
You know, so now I don't blame that. I think you have a great 10 years. You know, I think actually people have a great 10 years in those 20s, you know, where they become good into adulthood and had a great time. But there are implications for it. And you're right, someone should actually explain that to a lot of people.
And which is why what Geeta Nalgood says is we just need to make sure women are educated about this stuff.
And that's
Because
what
we
I think-
didn't think about it.
I think it probably costs quite a lot, and I don't think I'd like to see this available on the NHS. It probably costs
No.
about 20 grand or
No,
something.
it's five.
5
Yeah.
grand.
Yeah, but 5 to 7.
But I actually took the trouble of looking at the national curriculum to see what is taught about
Fertility.
reproductive biology. And there's a section on fertilisation, but nothing about fertility. And actually, if you did pop it in there at an early point, rather than having old wives chanting tick-tock at
Yeah.
Bridget Jones's,
Yeah.
or like my mum did, saying to me, darling, it's all very well having a boyfriend and a career, but what about a family? You know, which she did at 26, and I was absolutely horrified because I
No,
thought
but
she was an
thank
old
God
hippie.
she did.
I know,
Thank
and
God
then
she did.
literally the next thing I knew, I was married and pregnant. I can't remember which order. Anyway.
How old were you when you felt pregnant for the first time?
26.
Great.
Fell pregnant, that's an interesting
Lovely
Well, it's
expression.
terrible.
Yeah.
It's like a fallen woman.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
But Michelle, so there are some companies that are actually offering this to their
Yeah.
employees, but
Yeah.
actually the
Face-
success
yeah, in
rate.
America,
but isn't
Facebook
it a
and
bit of
Google.
a mirage? Isn't the actual success rate of freezing eggs very
not
low?
really.
So what
Like-
we really need to do is ram home the message about biology, even though we've got 3-parent fetuses and babies being
Yeah,
born,
I
and
saw that.
it seems that anything is possible. In fact, you can't beat the clock.
Yes, we have to be honest with women. We do. We really do.
Yeah, so
We've been sold a
freezing-
lie, let's be honest.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
but-
not. But there was something almost at the beginning. I mean, it's not the fault of men, is it?
No, no.
Men do take
no,
evasive
I mean-
action
But
when
men-
they think
you
they're
know-
going to
No,
be
but-
baby
Let's
fathers.
flip
Yeah.
this for
What?
posterity that you all agree that it's not the fault.
It's not the fault of men, it's just life.
It's
But
just
men
life.
want children later and later and later, that's true. But back to your point about the companies, lots of companies like Facebook and Apple and stuff, they're offering it as a perk, and they've been
What,
absolutely
to
like...
please their employees'
Oh,
eggs?
yes, yeah.
And they've been
So
absolutely
that they can still
slaughtered.
work.
But what happens if you then leave one of these companies?
Well, you
I'm-
keep them.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they do it.
They own your eggs.
No, no,
you
you
have
own...
to pay an annual...
Yeah,
you
the
pay
company
storage.
They
pays.
can't,
even when you don't
they
want
can't
to.
breed
No, no,
without you.
once you leave,
So
I
you'd have to
presume,
pick up
yeah,
the child.
But I think there's nothing wrong with that, and I think that the cost would be a barrier to a 20-something-year-old girl
Do you
being
mind
able to do
asking
that.
5 to 7 grand.
Yeah, I mean, but that's for multi-cycle, so you can get it for about, I don't know, 3 to 3,500 for
And
just
then
a
an
single
annual
site.
fee
And then,
for them to
I
be
don't know,
obviously
200-300
carefully-
quid, to store them,
Yeah.
essentially,
Okay.
per annum. But if you think about it, 1 in 6 couples actually struggle to conceive. So
Yeah.
that's 1 in 6 couples at the moment. And I just think if you're educating people properly about the fertility at the beginning, if you're offering, I'd even go as far as saying, actually, offer fertility tests. So when, like, a lady gets a smear test, offer them a fertility test, and then you're going to stop those
But
problems
did
later
you
down the
not
line.
have children in your 20s because you didn't meet the right man?
No, I didn't want
Or you
children
just
in my
didn't want
20s.
I didn't want
want
them.
them.
No, not in my 20s.
No.
I was having a great time. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, and that's fine, but just make sure that people understand the ramifications of that so you can actually be freezing your eggs
Yeah.
earlier than what I've been trying to do it.
It's